it's Caitlin, and today I have quite a different video. It's not as fun and lighthearted as other ones because I'm going to be talking about the whole college scandal thing that's happening right now with Olivia Jade and everyone that's involved. I do have some opinions on it, and I do have some perspective on it. And yeah, I'm just going to be talking about that, so if you're interested, then keep on watching. So, if you guys don't know what's happening, basically, a bunch of rich people were caught bribing universities to let their kids in, and Loughlin, which is Olivia Jade's mother, was caught doing that as well. So it's this huge scandal where she paid $500,000 to USC to let Olivia and her sister into the school, and it's just this big thing all over social media, and obviously it has pissed off a lot of people and a lot of kids who are going to college and trying to get into colleges. So that's what's going on. Now I'm going to be talking about my opinion and my personal take on it. I have conflicting views because I know I've heard her say that she doesn't really care about school and she just wants to experience partying and stuff.
I don't know how much of school I'm going to attend, but I'm going to go in and talk to my deans and everyone. Hope that I can try and balance it all. But I do want the experience of game days, partying. I don't really care about school, as you guys all know. I don't really care about school.
Which I understand, no one really likes school, but I forgot to mention that I think that a lot of people are really outraged about is the fact that she was talking about how she doesn't really care about school and it doesn't really interest her and she just wants to party and stuff. Meanwhile, her parents paid $500,000 to send her to USC, plus the tuition, which is $70,000 a year, and it just sounds really ungrateful, and I think that's what a lot of people are really upset about, and it obviously does upset me because they just have this money they can throw around when she's not grateful for the education she's getting, and the fact that there are so many kids that want to go to that school but they just either they don't get in, or they get in and they can't afford it, or all that stuff. So I can definitely see why there is such a big outrage on this right now. So if you guys don't know, I went to a international high school in Tokyo, Japan. So it was an all English speaking school, and the majority of students that went to my school were expats or just really wealthy families. If you guys don't know what an expat is, it's basically in most cases the father is working at a company, and then the company sends the whole family to a foreign country, so Japan. A lot of Asian countries are really not popular but are really common, Japan, Hong Kong, Singapore, all those kind of countries have a lot of expats, and basically they get sent to those countries and they work there. The company pays for education, housing, all of that stuff, so you're basically living there for free. They're not necessarily rich, but they are on the wealthier side. So that's what an expat is, if you don't know what that is. And I'm just gonna be straight up real with you guys. The tuition is pretty expensive, so obviously not everyone could afford it. So it was a school for more elite people or whatever. I didn't mean to say elite people, I just said elite because elite college thing came up. So I meant upper class people, people that you think are snobby and stuff, I don't know, I feel weird talking about this, but I also don't, because I went to that high school and I know people that are really rich, but I'm not necessarily really rich, so I don't really fit in completely, but it's just weird, it's weird for me. So yeah, so basically I've talked to some of my friends about this whole situation, and we're honestly all of us are not surprised at what's going on because it's something that we see quite often from my high school, and there are definitely people from my high school that go to elite universities that aren't as deserving as some other people would be, but they get in because their families are rich or they have connections to the school, obviously legacy or personal connections that the parents have to admissions officers and stuff like that. So it honestly didn't surprise me or any of my friends that this happened, and I was talking to some of my friends. I'm not gonna mention any names because I don't think they would want me to mention their names. So like last year, when I was a senior in high school, we were talking about like colleges, and we're talking about Olivia Jade. She actually came up in our conversations, and we all like assumed she would go to USC, but not because of merit, but because of like money or connections or legacy or whatever. So when this whole thing came public, it didn't surprise us at all, and none of us were shocked because we kind of assumed she didn't get in for merit, and lo and behold, she is not accepted for her merit, but she was recruited onto the rowing team fakely. But yeah, it's really common for people from my high school, or probably in a lot of like richer, more higher class like schools, that when the student doesn't get in for their merit, then parents can just like pay their way in. And USC kind of has a reputation among like my friends and like my high school that it's kind of a pay to get in school, and it's basically like, obviously there are the kids that get in with their merit and are genuinely deserving to be there, but there are a handful of kids that aren't as deserving and are lucky to have rich parents who can just like pay money to get in, if you know what I mean. Spill a little tea because I know the people I'm talking about probably don't watch my YouTube videos, but this is a real life example. I'm not going to name any names, so if you went to my high school, if you're in my grade, and you know what I'm talking about, then please don't name names, or, you know, I'm just trying to keep it anonymous, but you'll know who I'm talking about. So, basically, last March, the USC decisions came out. I got rejected, but there was this one kid, he or she got rejected, and I actually talked to this person about it, and they're like, yeah, I'm deciding between Santa Clara and like this other school. I forgot what school it was, but I remember they said Santa Clara, and I was like, oh, I'm going to Santa Clara. This was like maybe a few weeks after the USC decisions came out, so it was common knowledge that this person got rejected. But then, magically, a month later, they were like, oh, I'm going to USC. And in my head, I was like, how the hell are you going to USC if you got rejected? And you literally talked about it last month, how you were deciding to go to Santa Clara. And what I found out, and what a lot of people found out at my school, was that this person, their friend has connections to USC with admissions and stuff. So because of that, they used that connection to get in, and then they became a spring admit, and then whatever. So yeah, it's unfair. It does suck because this person is definitely not deserving. I know this person because I was in class with this person, and they just did not take school that seriously, but they got lucky with connections and stuff, so yeah, it sucks. So I thought that was all like common knowledge for a lot of people in the US or anywhere in general, but after seeing like the social media outrage about this whole situation, it was just really interesting to me because I was so used to it, and I was just like, oh, like for me, in my situation, when I got rejected from USC and I saw other kids who aren't as deserving get in, I was kind of just like, well, I just have to suck it up because that's life, and I'm just not lucky to have gotten in. And obviously, like after seeing kids from my high school that aren't as deserving to get into certain schools, and then some kids get rejected from said schools, it honestly does hurt, and it really sucks. Okay, so it honestly is really unfair, and the more I think about it, it does suck a lot. And in the moment, I was really upset because I knew certain kids from my school were getting into really good schools, not because they worked hard in high school, but because of money or connections. And that's honestly the most unfair thing ever. And it's just like the whole concept of the rich just keeps getting richer, and it's not fair. It really is not fair, and it sucks. It really sucks. But I've just learned to like suck it up and live with it because nothing is really going to change in the future. Colleges love money, and rich people will pay money to get their kids into good schools. So of course it pisses me off. Of course it pisses a lot of people off, because there are people who are so much more hardworking and more deserving school-wise that would deserve to get in to like really good schools, but we're just the unlucky ones who don't get in. And yeah, I don't know what else. So from my perspective of being someone who was rejected from USC, fuck my life. Oh my god, I got rejected. I think I got rejected. I think I got rejected. I think I got rejected. My heart is pounding intensely. I didn't get in. So I got rejected. I kind of felt like it was coming, because and seeing other kids who aren't as deserving get in, it does suck, but I've learned to live with it, and I'm happy where I am right now, and I'm happy that I didn't get in, because I think that everything happens for a reason, and there's a reason that I didn't get in, and there's a reason that my life is the way it is right now, and I'm really happy with how my life is now. So it's just better to not dwell on that kind of negative stuff when you can just focus on the positives of everything. And just my life has worked out perfectly without going to USC, and I'm going to a great school in Australia from this summer, and yeah, I'm really happy with everything. I'm not salty at all. I'm definitely not like pissed off. It does suck that maybe Olivia Jade's spot could have been my spot at the school, but it is what it is, and we can't really change anything right now. And it's funny that USC says they're the victim when this kind of thing has been happening for a really long time. And yeah, it's just really funny to me that this is all becoming public, and it's pretty exciting to me, because like I was talking to my friends about it. We're all like, oh my god, like this is finally like becoming public, and people are actually finding out about like the truth about the rich people like spending so much money to send their kids to good schools.
Also meant to say was that we're just really happy that the real truth about college admissions is finally like becoming big news, and that everyone's finding out about it, because it's always felt like something that we all knew about, but we weren't really like allowed to talk about, or we shouldn't really talk about around people, because like my friends and I, we know people that have like bought their way into college, and it's like a touchy subject because we're friends with them, but also like they have this unfair advantage, and it's just like something that I feel like should be talked about, and I'm happy that it finally is being talked about, and we're just happy that like the truth is coming out.
I don't know. This is kind of like a rambly video. I don't know if any of it made sense. I hope it did. But that's basically my whole opinion on this whole situation. I mean, this is not a video attacking Olivia Jade at all. I love her videos. I like her as a person, but it just sucks that she's like dragged into this because her parents paid money to get into the school. That was my opinion. I hope it all made sense. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.